Hi everybody, thanks for watching. So get ready to post your "you're an idiot" comments down below because I have a good one for you today. So yesterday was Thanksgiving and we hopped in the family vehicle and we drove over the river and through the woods to Grandma and Grandpa's house. And for fun, I thought I would bring the drones along. I brought my Mavic Pro and my Spark with me. And a couple of reasons. Number one, Grandpa Joe, my stepfather, recently had back surgery and it's really limited in what he can do. And so he's getting kind of down, and I thought that would cheer him up to be able to fly one of my drones. And the second reason is he's really been into things that fly. He built his own airplane about 30 years ago, but I don't know if he's ever actually had it up in the air, a little remote control airplane, excuse me. And he also has a little remote control helicopter, just a kind of a cheap one from the mall. And he's flown that a little bit too, but he's apprehensive to fly because he doesn't want to crash his RC vehicles. And so I thought maybe bringing the Spark and the Mavic would give him an opportunity to fly and experience the fun of it and not have to worry about crashing it. And so I documented that experience a little bit, and then also I documented one of my stupid moments. So today I have two takeaways for you, hopefully, that you get out of this video. Number one, the Spark is an awesome drone for anyone that's looking to get into flying drones as a beginner. You know, yes, you can buy a cheap drone from the mall, but it's really not actually a drone. It's just a toy. And so I wanted to show him and give him some confidence that you can fly a drone. And the second thing that I hope to teach you is don't be an idiot while flying your drones. I've done some dumb things, but this one was actually pretty stupid. Okay, so like I said, we hopped in the vehicle and we drove to Grandma and Grandpa's for the Thanksgiving holiday. And I brought the Mavic with and I brought the Spark because I wanted to see if Grandpa Joe would have some fun flying them. Now, it took a little bit of convincing. Want to fly a drone today? Huh? Well, you're gonna. You know, he hasn't been feeling well and he was kind of grumpy about it. But after a couple hours, he finally came outside and decided that he wanted to give it a try. And so he brought his little remote control helicopter that he had gotten, I don't know, last year or maybe a couple of years ago. And he was having trouble flying it. And I could see why. You know, it's not a high quality machine. And so I tried for a few minutes to try to get it to fly. And it's really not easy to control. It flew all over the place. We crashed it a couple of times. And he had already done that before. He had to super glue the wheels back on it. Best advice. Don't buy a remote control flying anything from the mall. And so I just let him know it wasn't his problem that he couldn't fly that thing. It's just impossible to fly one of those things and not crash it. So then what I did is I put the Mavic up and let him try that for a while, and he had a blast. You know, one thing that I really began to realize when he was flying that is, you know, for a lot of people when they're learning how to fly a drone, the biggest thing is not being able to see where it's at. Yes, you're supposed to keep line of sight anytime you're flying a drone. But let's be honest, a lot of people don't do that. They like to fly around, you know, get some footage that maybe is around the building or around a mountain or something like that. So it's not going to be in line of sight. But, you know, Joe had trouble flying it because he couldn't look at the screen. He had trouble following the Mavic Pro while looking on my mobile device. He needed to see the drone up in the sky. He just couldn't get to the point where he could watch the screen and see how to maneuver the Mavic Pro. He had to be watching it. And so that's where I've kind of taken it for granted where, you know, beginners, people who have never flown a drone before, they really need to see where that drone is going. And that's why I thought maybe the Spark would be a better option for him. And so I brought out the Spark, and the first thing that I did was the gesture control because, you know, the gesture control is actually pretty impressive, especially for someone that's never seen it before. You know, acting like a Jedi or Darth Vader or whatever and being able to control it with your hand. And I kind of just passed it off as like a marketing tool, which is fine. You know, the Spark is still a great drone, but I thought that the gesture control was just, you know, kind of a joke actually. But Joe really enjoyed it. He had a blast flying that thing with his hand and he was pretty amazed at it. And I think it really sparked his interest. I think that's why they call this the Spark. You know, he, like I said, he's always been interested in remote control things that fly. And the Spark actually gave him an opportunity to enjoy it rather than worrying about crashing it. He got to have some fun with it. And so that's why I think the Spark is an awesome drone for people that are just getting into flying drones. Yes, the Mavic Pro is definitely a much better machine when it comes to cinematography and having a little more control and just being an overall better drone. But if someone is interested in learning how to fly a drone, you know, maybe the Spark is a good idea. It has all of the same intelligent flight modes that the Mavic Pro has. It's light and portable, and it's super fun. And yesterday I suddenly realized that the Spark is a great drone for people that are just getting started. And so anyway, Grandpa Joe flew it around for a little bit longer and had some fun, but then he started to get tired, so he had to go in the house. So then I had the wonderful idea of attempting to fly both drones at the same time. I was going to fly my Mavic Pro and my Spark both at the same time and then record each other as they were up in the air. And so I did that. You know, it was kind of fun for a while. Some neighbors walked by and they were like amazed that I was flying both of them at the same time. But then what happened is I crashed my Spark. And the Spark was just not following my commands. It was flying all over the place. You know, there was a slight breeze, I would say maybe 15 miles per hour, which is kind of high for the Spark. And there's this huge cottonwood tree right next to my parents' house. And I was staying above that tree as much as I could. But what happened is the Spark just kind of got a mind of its own. Oh, up we go. Oh, that's not good. So what happened is it ran into the tree and it fell about 60 feet to the ground. Now, when I went over there to pick it up, I thought, well, I'm glad that I have the DJI Care Refresh program because this will be my first opportunity to see how it works. So I picked up the Spark and I checked it out and it was still on. It wasn't recording anymore, but it was still on. The lights were still blinking. And I just had a couple of broken props and I thought, wow, that's really not too bad at all. Okay, don't do that. I think some of the branches broke the fall on the way down, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it did fall in the mud and it did break 2 of the propellers. And then I put a couple of new props on it and flew it around for a while, and actually it didn't look like anything bad happened to it. And so I was really fortunate that something worse didn't happen to my Spark. So just another one of my lane brain ideas, trying to fly 2 drones at the same time. The biggest issue, you guys, is if you're going to fly your Spark, make sure you have your mobile device attached, because what happened is there's no GPS positioning on the Spark when you're just flying it with a remote controller. So although you can fly with just the controller, I don't recommend it. I make sure that you have your mobile device attached and connected to your remote controller when you're flying it. So that's all I have for you guys today. Not a whole lot of information other than the Spark is great for beginners, and if you're thinking about it, get it. Secondly, don't be an idiot and try to fly both drones at the same time. Feel free to leave some comments below. I expect to get some "you're an idiot" comments, and that's okay. But if you have any questions about anything about the Spark or the Mavic, or if you need any advice at all, please post that down in the comments below. The coolest thing about my channel is that, you know, we communicate with each other. My subscribers visit with each other and we answer each other's questions. And I love that. So if you have a question about anything, go ahead and put those in the comments. And if I can't answer it, someone else certainly can. If you got anything out of this video, if you liked it or entertained at all, go ahead and please consider clicking on that thumbs up, that like button. And if you didn't like it, that's okay. Go ahead and watch some of my other videos and maybe there's something there that you will like. Finally, if you're not subscribed, you're just passing by, checking out this channel, please consider clicking on the subscribe button. Like I said, we have a great community here. It's a progressive, growing community, and I love it, and we would love to have you. I want to sincerely thank you guys for watching, and as always, fly safe and fly smart. Well, we gotta move kind of slow. There we go.